Well, thank you for the interview, by the way.
My pleasure.
Well, I have a bone to pick with you, first of all.
Good.
You guys broke up when just fell in love with you.
Yeah.
I'm still angry with you guys for breaking up. When was it? Like 1970 or something?
72, yeah.
72.
Well, it was a really sad thing for me, man, because, you got a dream come true. And God, we had a ball.
Oh man.
I recently hooked up with a lawyer, and Frankie Valli gave me a lawyer because we're having some problems with our record company.
Hmm.
Oh, how does that happen? But anyway, he told me, he said, I never represent male groups because they always break up, they always fight, they always, and it's all ego. We had no reason to break up. So it's something that I will always kind of like feel bad about.
You were on such a roll.
Yeah.
Every song you released was just
We had a blast.
phenomenal.
We had a good group, good bunch of guys.
Yeah.
What happened, excuse me, is Eddie Brigatti. I don't know if you've read my book, but basically what happened is we were going from Atlantic to Columbia.
Okay.
We were in the free agent stage of our career. At the contract signing, he leaves, just left. And you're talking about a 4 album, if I'm not mistaken, deal for a couple of $1 million. We were all like late 20s. So it was a real disaster. Let's put it like that,
Oh, what a shame. And you guys wrote together, right?
Well, kind of. That kind of broke down after a while because, he kind of slumped up, stopped working a lot, and it got a little tense because I was giving him 50%, and he wasn't doing the 50. It was just really tough.
Well, the good news for you, though, is, here you are 60 years later, and the Rascals are going strong, right?
Well, we're having a good time again. I've got a different bunch of personnel now. Gene doesn't work anymore. He's kind of like, infirmed. He has a problem. And the other issue is our audience. I'm glad to see we're still here,
Yeah.
You got to take that in consideration. Is anybody left out there? Yeah, well, good. We'll play for you.
Are you still having fun now?
Here's the thing. The joke in the industry now is we don't get paid to work. We get paid to get there. It's the travel that has really become, the TSA and the flights and of course the price. But once you get there, oh yeah, we have a blast. You understand completely because you were part of the audience. There was a connection there, musical connection between our generations and the music. And that's still very, very alive and well.
Your music was so different, like A Beautiful Morning. I didn't even know how you wrote that song. Was it a beautiful morning when you wrote the song? What was that about?
The story is, I'd say this on stage, basically we were in Hawaii and we had just finished, I think we had a #1 record with Groovin. I happened to be so madly in love, I could hardly see, So the conditions, if you can't feel bliss in Hawaii, there's something really wrong with you, So that's where that happened.
This is really funny. I think you'll appreciate this. Your album, your greatest hits album, Timepiece.
Right.
Was probably, it was by far my most played album.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The grooves were just completely destroyed. And then the worst thing that ever happened, I accidentally left it in the back seat of my car in a 90-degree weather. And it was so warped, I couldn't play it anymore.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. There's been a recent kind of resurgence of vinyl.
Right.
And, I got to be honest, I really don't know why, because of all of those issues. Of course, there's a warmth sound. Okay, I understand the warmth sound, but there's so many drawbacks like scratching, and warping. You should be able to get whatever you want out of a good hi-fi system today with all of the plugins and stuff we have,
But you were different than that because you were writing quality music. And then that blue-eyed soul, I guess they called that genre that you created for all intents and purposes, was so unique.
Well, we also had a tremendous advantage being on Atlantic Records, because Atlantic Records was really like a bastion of good music. When we made our deal, which was in 1960, I think it was 4, something like that, I wanted to produce the band ourselves. I didn't want an outside entity. And we turned down some very, very, very important people, such as Phil Spector, who I adored his work, because I wanted to create the sound that we had a definite sound. So we went to Atlantic, and Atlantic gave us two what they call supervisors. These supervisors were two of the best in the industry, Arif Mardin and
Oh,
Tom Dowd. So, I mean, that's like a stroke of divine luck because now we had the opportunity to make great music with great people helping us. We're still in control, but
right.
so that was just a stroke of luck,
Wow.
and it worked out. It was a joyous experience. That's all I can say.
The Rascals were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you were inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but the Songwriters Hall of Fame is really pretty cool. It also doesn't have a big monument, to itself. Very select group of people. Now, with all due respect to all the other Hall of Fames, it's a long story, but to simplify it, I'll just say the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now is a television show. The Songwriter Hall of Fame is not anywhere near that in terms of, you got to have an audience. And it is, I think it's an honor. They're all honors, let's face it, but they all have different levels of authenticity, let's say.
So are you writing songs today that you think are as comparable as the songs you wrote back in the 60s?
Well, I moved to Nashville for that reason, and I like to think. I don't know if you heard my last album. It's called Then and Now, and we had a great time. We did it during the COVID, and it's good stuff. I wrote it with some other people who live down here because that's what Nashville is all about. This is a songwriting community here, so I still have a good time. I still do it. It's like Paul Simon recently said, "Why am I doing this new album stuff? Nobody listens, nobody buys. You download it." But I'd like to keep going because I don't know. I kind of think if you stop creating, you kind of stop living.
And why'd you choose Nashville? Because of that?
Yes. Came down here on business, and I met a group of people who wanted me to join their team, so to speak. And I started running into people who I knew, like, for example, what's his name? John Kay from Steppenwolf was here. I said, "What are you guys doing here?" He said, "Oh, man, everybody's down here." I said, "What are you kidding?" Now, this was the 90s, the early 90s. He says, "Everybody's here." Guys from Bruce Springsteen's band and guys from Four Seasons. I said, "Whoa, what's going on down here? It's country, isn't it?" He says, "No, man, it's music."
All right. So what are folks going to see and hear when they come to the Robbins Theater to watch the Rascals? Is it going to look and seem the same as you're being transported to 68?
I think mostly it won't look the same, of course, but it'll sound the same. See, the thing is that we like to connect with our audience and include them in the conversation musically. We ask them to sing a lot, and they know a lot of the songs because I don't do just my stuff. I put little vignettes that I know they know, and I see their face just light up. Oh, I know that. I remember that. Oh boy, I remember what I was doing when I did that. So we have a good time, and the people connect to that. That's sort of like togetherness, I think. Which if we get a little bit philosophical, we certainly need that today, man. We're kind of falling apart, like and at least we could be together for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I think, right? But I'm still going, man, and I got a great group of guys from down here. I've been together with these guys down here almost 20 years. The rest was made 5 or 6. That was it. These guys, 20 years, and they're great players. They love the music. They love playing, and I think people are going to have a good time. So I thank you for helping.
Well, Felix, thank you so much. So nice meeting you and getting that off my chest that I was angry that you guys broke up.
I was too, man. You're not alone. I tell you, I felt really, really bad about that. But thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Hope I see you.